Pause.
243, phase number
Good
2.
catch.
Thank you.
No.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Tom Lasher from Capstone Real Estate Development here to discuss our plans for phase. Is that what I gotta do? Thank you for putting that up, and I apologize for just getting into. This is the concept plan for phase 2. To the left is the, first phase of the project. It begins, with a lighter, kind of yellowish brown shaded buildings. Very much, that is building, 2. Building 3 is a long, narrow one. It's running perpendicular to Gorham Street, and then that's the end of phase 1. The next buildings to the right of that, the small one on Gorham Street, is building 6, followed by 7 counterclockwise all the way around, till we reach building 10, which is the last building on the site. Very similar to the first phase. We're kind of mirroring. If it's good planning, good luck, or a little bit of both, but they almost mirror each other. Do you mind scrolling to the next, a little out of order, but, the big gray mass on the right side of that dotted line is actually the existing footprint of all of the buildings tied together today. I believe there are 13 technically, buildings on that side that have been combined over the years. About 105,000 square feet in phase 2 today. Our plan is to demolish about 54,000 feet of that, to open up the site similar to what we did in phase 1, and leave the building 6 through 9 for residential and building 10 for commercial space. Leaves us with about, as of today's plan, which could change before I get back to my office tonight, 43 units and roughly 4,700 or 5,000 square feet of commercial space in what we were our plan. So parking's pretty much the same as the first phase, laid out around a central courtyard or green space. We will probably do a little bit more this time with the courtyard in the center, because we find that residents are really utilizing that space more. The coffee shop, Working Class Coffee in phase 1 seems to be doing really well and is popular. Nights, weekends, it's full. And when the weather's great, the back area is really doing well. So we're planning to do a little bit more of that in phase 2. We have an area, one more slide if you don't mind. Thank you. That shows the buildings that are being demolished. One more, please. I apologize. We have a little bit of space between building 8 and 7 to the left that we might add another small park-like area with a fire pit, probably another fire pit in the center space. We're hoping to attract another user similar to Working Class, obviously not a coffee company, but someone else that will attract and keep residents there, keep it active. Again, I don't know if it was just good luck or good planning, but all of the entrances face that courtyard space. Everybody flows to it. In the summer, it's busy. We do have some connections to the first phase, so hopefully people will walk or bike back and forth within the project. We also have the sidewalks, but first phase has been great. I was a little slow getting started. A lot of discoveries underground that we weren't anticipating. COVID, but hopefully with phase 2, we hit the ground running now, and hoping it's about 18 to 24 months to start to the last tenant moves in.
Okay, we need a motion to approve a resolution for a public hearing.
So move.
All right, Brian moved it and Deb has seconded that. Any discussion, any questions for Don?
And this is not a setup question, I was just curious, with New York State pushing for their Climate Action Council and pushing to have everything all electric, is this affecting at least what you're looking at for down the road in construction? And one of the things that popped the question in my mind was about the fire pit, whether you could use gas versus electric?
That's a great question. I hadn't thought of that. On this project, it's a little more difficult than normal with the energy code and a lot of the green initiatives, because we're left with older buildings. It's actually, ironically, in one aspect, it's tough to meet some of their standards sometimes without burying some of the character of the buildings. Unless you want to lose the brick or the wood beams and all what makes it so unique. But I will say they're also some of the most ironically efficient buildings we have in our portfolio. Brick is probably 1.5 foot thick in these buildings. Once that heats up or cools down in the summer, it stays relatively tempered. So from an efficiency standpoint, they've been great. We would meet that. The new initiatives on phase 2 though, just because of the project itself.
I was just a curiosity question, wasn't trying to test you at all.
I would have failed if you did.
Are you suggesting he had an electric fire pit?
No.
Oh.
I happen to have voted against all that nonsense. And I believe in, environmental, shall we say, good environmental planning and diversification of energy sources, but this, what they're doing is going way too far in terms of what they're trying to regulate by statute. So it's just like all new construction, what they're pushing for, either residential or commercial, has to be all electrified versus like having natural gas or propane. And it's just, it's a step, it's a bridge too far in terms of what they're trying to accomplish that won't really have the type of impact on emission control that they're looking for. And that's been tough. And I'm not trying to get on a soapbox here. I'm just trying to just put it out there that some of the things that the general public just doesn't really know about, because there's been insufficient publicity about how it's going to affect people that want to build homes, replace furnaces in their home, whether they have a gas stove or not. There's a lot of negative impact what they're trying to do for the residents and businesses in New York State. And they're just, the average folks don't really know about it because it's, legislators do, but not the general public. And I think if anybody was paying attention to on the national stage when one of the consumer people in the federal government said, we're going to get rid of your gas stove, there was this tremendous pushback. And they sort of said, oh, well, we were just talking hypothetically. But there are states like New York State that are advocating going to all electric, and there's just insufficient. And that I'm talking about this because of the impact on economic development in Ontario County and our state. It's a negative. It's going to be tough for businesses to follow some of these initiatives that they're putting forth from a pure common sense perspective, and that's the only reason. And I wasn't, like I said, trying to trick Don here. I was just curious if this was going to impact down the road for what they'd like to do here in Ontario County.
Also impossible to make a s'more on an electric fireplace.
What's that?
Possible to make a s'more on an electric fireplace.
I don't know if that's true, but, okay. Any other questions for Don? All right, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Don.
I love working class coffee or cafe. So good there. Mm-hmm. It is. You want to go there for your birthday? All right. Oh, can I come with you?
Question at that part of the group.
It's just,
I'm in Korea.
usually don't sit this close to the door.
If it takes too much, I'll pop it back a little bit further. I mean,
You're gonna take this next one to DGA?
where are we at?
PGA building.
PGA Builders. So an update on the status, they did a presentation last month to the board, and you all passed a resolution to go to public hearing. We had that public hearing. There was only 2 comments from the public. It was from, both from the town of Victor in support of. After doing our due diligence, thank you, Michael Wojcik, to, do a cost benefit. We realized that it would be unfair of us not to bring to the attention of DJ builders that their benefit wasn't that great over a 10-year period. Michael can go over some of the numbers with you if you'd like, but, we talked to them on the phone, and in doing so, they got back to us and said that it didn't make a lot of sense for them to go through the project. They still very much plan on bringing business to Ontario County. The but-for question wasn't there for them though, so they've decided not to go forward. And if you want some of the math on it, Mike can think.
Yeah, Ryan said it best. I mean, it had a pretty low, benefit of, I think it was 27,000 over the course of 10 years. Cost between the attorneys, and our fees, it just was gonna wipe it out, so. We felt it necessary to give them a call and just let them know what these are the numbers are, and they were very grateful, appreciated it, and, they're gonna still continue on with the project, and, that's it.
County Road 41.
I'm not sure. So,
Any questions on that? Everybody good? Barry, you're gonna talk to us about, the solar, BW Solar.
Yes, there was a letter in the packet from Catalyze Energy requesting that the two existing IDA projects that have been approved but have not been closed for community solar projects be assigned or purchased by Catalyze Energy. So BW Solar would sell its interests in each of the project companies to the new developer. There are no changes to the benefits that were previously authorized. There's been no changes to the project itself.
Is it in here? Sorry, Gary.
The difference would be one developer, is, basically selling the projects to the new company.
Okay.
Any questions?
No.
All right, I'm gonna click on it.
Sorry, I have it.
I read it
Have
online.
it,
Yeah,
yeah,
just not
I
in the.
think we have it on here.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Barry, does that tell us anything about
It may
the
be in
future of
the
solar projects? I mean, that's a relatively new project. Are those evolving to bigger?
We are seeing a lot of consolidation, and obviously Ed can speak to this too, but what we're seeing across the state is there's different types of solar developers because it is a new industry. Some developers just go out and get what I call entitlements. They'll go through the land use and zoning process to get permits, maybe they'll go to the IDA to get some economic incentives, and then their sort of business model is then to transfer that project to someone who will own and operate it long term. And we've done that, and we've seen that for across the state. So this is not an uncommon request.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's very common to basically see a lot of these developers flip them.
So I wasn't here when all that started, so is the county or getting any benefit to this particular project in terms of community solar credits or anything of that nature, do you know?
So they are required to get subscribers. The subscribers don't necessarily have to be within, let's say, solely Ontario County, but they have to be within the utility that serves this district, and they usually have a preference for people who live near the project. And those residents or businesses that sign up for the community solar will get a guaranteed discount on their.
Yeah, RG&E put a postcard out, I think it was last month, that basically said 5% credit, but I didn't know if, I live in Victor, so I didn't know if this was part of this particular project or not, or whether, again, this is going through the approval or tax credits through Ontario County. So I'm not familiar with any of that background. Is that what's going on here?
It's the same type of project. This solicitation you received is probably not for this specific project, because this project hasn't been built yet. They could be, once usually they start construction, they'll start, it's gonna be built, they'll start, trying to get subscribers for the project.
And this particular project is gonna be built where?
Well, there's two separate projects, and I gave you my letter, so I don't know exactly where they are. Apologies.
Apologies.
Clifton Springs,
Yep, Clifton Springs,
that's 4. That's only 2.
the other one is,
Stop.
yep,
Did you say Phelps?
Yep.
So again, pardon my questions, but it's just that I wasn't here for all the beginning stuff. So are they looking to get help from the IDA and from Ontario
Sorry.
County or no?
Yeah, so they sought, a pilot agreement and sales tax exemptions for both of these projects. The benefits were approved previously, and the, prior company or prior developer, BW Solar, has not closed on the IDA incentives yet. So, once they sell this project, it would be up to the new owner, Catalyze, to close and then construct.
But the credits and all that and the pilot's already been approved by.
It's been approved, but as of yet, they've gotten zero benefits from it because they haven't closed yet, but it has been approved.
15-year, and the payment was $5,000 per megawatt. The later of about 2% per year, and I think that's on both of them, right?
Correct.
The board has to approve this transfer,
Correct.
so we need a motion to approve that.
Thank you.
Well, that's interesting. I'll ask one more time. In order to make this transfer, somebody's got to move it. So if we don't have a motion and a second, then we can't, we're gonna have to go back to BW and say, tell us the pilot benefits aren't gonna go with it.
Correct, yeah, if they went and transferred it without your approval, then you'd have no requirement to close with the new owner. So you could do, obviously, any number of things. You could, go to take a vote, right, and either vote it down or approve it, or you could table it for further discussion if there's things that you want to know, whether it be from the new owner, or the old developer. If you didn't want to make a decision.
So we could go to a vote. I don't think that's gonna be effective.
Yep.
So what you would want to do is make a motion to table until next month.
I think I'd like to understand if there are objections or if people don't feel like they know enough.
Both for me.
I mean, we're not even voting at this point. We're just moving
And down the road.
yeah.
Yeah, so, and that's why I was just mentioning, like, we're not changing the benefits. We're just permitting someone else to receive them. And the project itself hasn't changed.
Right.
But they can't transfer the project or the benefits from one company that was.
Right. But my question is for the board members. Are you lacking information or do you have a fundamental disagreement with what's being proposed?
I don't feel that this company's even had it for a year and they're already selling it. I don't know anything about the new company. I don't have good feelings about the old company if they're already ditching it and it's not even up yet. Am I wrong in that? I mean, we researched this B&W. You didn't tell me anything about the new company.
Yeah, they did submit a letter, basically describing their expertise and their backing, that they basically have secured significant capital commitments from basically private equity funds, and that they have a list of, basically it looks like 25 projects across New York State that are in development. So this appears to be a more active and bigger development company than the previous one that we had before. The previous BW Solar was a Canadian company. The new potential purchaser is headquartered in Colorado, I believe.
I'll piggyback on Deb's comments as well. I mean, me personally, because I'm brand new to the board, and I realize the prior IDA had approved the original company, but, you know, I'm looking at this, I've got reservations about community solar anyways, and so I have no idea what the original IDA board approved in terms of tax credits and benefits and what are the businesses and consumers benefit from in Ontario County. I also echo the comments that you may have a letter, but I don't know this company whatsoever. And, you know, I think it probably, at least my reaction would be, table it until we have an opportunity to even maybe have a separate meeting just on this particular project and what's the long-term picture for solar in Ontario County.
Yeah, I was just trying to determine what and I think you've made it clear, that people want more information,
Yeah.
so.
That's my position too, just not being on the original committee that was involved with it, I don't really know anything about it.
Understand.
Is it common to have businesses come in and get the credit and then sell to someone else?
It is fairly common. We've seen it a lot in the solar space specifically.
I mean, anything other than solar.
Only if it was like speculative
North
development.
Point changed hands about
Yeah,
17 times.
There have been a few like speculative or large multi-phase developments that have also changed hands, especially recently. We've also seen it fairly frequently on like the last mile distribution sort of things where people build the warehouse without necessarily a tenant involved, and then whether it be Amazon, Walmart, or someone else may come in and just buy it rather than enter into long-term lease.
But that's fine, we'll just table it for next meeting.
This is Lou. I did, in prepping for the meeting today, I did just Google this company and read a little bit about them. They, you know, obviously are a legitimate company, and the fact that they have these, this kind of funding from these investors indicates that there is some upside to, you know, to this company, because what they're trying to do, as I understand it, is they're trying to get a larger foothold in the overall market of supplying energy to power companies in an environment that is very fragmented and has a lot of different players, is not very organized. And so they're trying to be a company that, you know, is reliable and has a, you know, a track record and a way of supplying energy reliably. They're really described as a company that that stores energy, as I understand it, you know, like with battery technology, et cetera. So I think they're, you know, a legitimate company. I guess I would go back to how are we, you know, we had a lot of discussion already on how we are going to approach this type of industry. And correct me if I'm wrong, but when we look at these businesses, we're not looking at a whole lot of jobs, right? Because there's some jobs as they set up the fields, but then once the fields are in place, there's not a whole lot of jobs. And it's more about taking some acreage in our county that is not really being used and, you know, putting it to use and hopefully having some benefit with regard to our county's energy supply, and balancing that against, well, are we losing, you know, agricultural land that would have been used for agricultural purposes? I mean, that's sort of my synopsis as we kind of debated this kind of thing. I think that debate is a legitimate debate, but I'm not sure that this company coming in and buying the company that we originally gave the, you know, the tax break to is really germane to that argument. You know, if we want to go back and look at solar from a global perspective, sure. But if we're just talking about this acquisition, I'm not really sure it makes a whole lot of difference.
It might not to you, but it does to me.
Okay?
Okay, so.
I don't, again, you'd have to explain to me why this particular acquisition is, if you don't know enough about the company and you feel like this would change, because what are the downsides to solar, right? The downside is all of a sudden they just take a powder and there's all these fields built up and nobody's taking care of them. They're just kind of there, right? So there is always going to be some kind of clause in the contract that they have to agree to clean them up if they leave or something like that. That was really the main thing with a company that might be fly by night, et cetera, right? I mean, so that's a legitimate concern. If we want to look at this company and say, gee, are we more likely to look at that kind of problem? Then I agree that it's worth looking at. Otherwise, you know, again, if it's just about this company and this acquisition, I don't know why it's we would not just transfer it over.
So I'm gonna ask for a motion to table this until next meeting.
I will.
Okay, you can't make a motion.
No, she is.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that is, yeah.
I'll second it.
And Brian seconded it, okay.
My major concern is everyone else has come in and presented to us, and none of the solar people have, and I just would like to do some more research on the new company.
That's fair.
It hasn't even been a year.
So we've got a couple of things that, we have to work on for all of you. One would be to help chase down any information on the new company. And to both Amanda and Brian's point, we have to provide you with a little background information on the initial deal because you weren't here for that. So I can get.
But also taking a step back, I'd also like to know how this fits into the entire county. How does it interface with the solar that's out on the other side of the county near Hopewell? So I'm not familiar with any of that, so that's what I'm saying, we're new board members, so we're gonna need more information, and I understand Lou's point, but still, this is a vote in the blind as far as I'm concerned, and, 30 days.
The next thing that I was going to say is there is a need for a broader conversation about solar projects in the county. And this isn't unusual to other counties. I mean, I just went to an IDA thing in October, and that was a large topic of discussion for a number of counties. So we're not the only ones grappling with it. I can provide all of you again with a refresher of MRB did a study for us, the reasonableness test for both of these original projects, and I can give you the cost benefit for both of the original projects, and then we can try to chase down some information on Catalyze, so you guys can have that. Now, as far as the more broader conversation, that's going to take a little bit of scheduling from all of us, so it may not be a conversation that we can have within 30 days, but we can definitely look at it as a conversation that we should have very soon.
Andy, we had a project applicant come recently where the community did support it, and I believe this board declined to move forward with that application. I don't know if this community is supportive of this change or not, but that might be an area of investigation that
You're referring to the town of Canton, back.
Yeah. Or was it town of Phelps and town of Clifton Springs for this one?
Yeah, the one that we.
Oh, the town of Canandaigua wasn't supportive of that project, but just in case you guys don't want to be caught blindsided if the community's not supportive of the change, that you might want to bring that up.
I know a couple of people from Phelps and Clifton Springs. I'll gladly reach out and see if they have anything. I don't know as if we have, well, we must have a public comment on the website from the initial public hearing, so I'll go back to that.
For example, I don't know if the town, they did a decommissioning agreement, and part of that requirement of the decommissioning was no change of control, or they need consent of the town, so things like that. Did the town need to consent to this transfer as well?
Sure. So you just need a motion, or you've got the motion, you just got to vote on it. I'm done talking. I appreciate it.
Okay, all in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so motion carries. All right, next up, Jim Armstrong. You're gonna talk to us about the wonderful things you're doing for us.
About that, we'll take it. So I started a fun project and have completed it, last March, I started it. We're part of the Greater Rochester Enterprise, and for years, we've had, industrial and commercial buildings and land out there on this site. However, we never really did a thorough investigation, and many of the properties needed to be updated. We needed to add new, we needed to take off. So for the past 10 months, I've been doing that. I've done it in probably 3 to 4 cycles. In the beginning, I drove everywhere in every town, talked to supervisors, talked to planning, talked to property owners themselves, and really, in the beginning, we had 55 properties on there to start. Took off 20 because they were outdated, very outdated. So we had 35 to start. Now we have 98, so give or take, we have 100 properties on there. And again, I've done it in stages. I've updated every 3 months, and I'm here to give you a little report on that. And then I'm, I guess, here to say, hey, do we want to do it again? So, we projected $7,000 to $7,500. I think you have it somewhere. Yes, you do. Good. And was just short of $5,500. So I'm thinking gas always goes up. If you'd like to do it again, I would start again this March. I've got a bigger inventory to start with, which is good, and I don't know, we could probably do it for $6,500. If you want to leave the present number, whatever you'd like to do, but give or take $5,500, I think we could do the same thing again for the coming year if you want to do it. And I'm happy to answer questions.
So the project is essentially to catalog, industrial real estate that.
Industrial and commercial.
That would be available to someone that was considering relocating, to, Ontario County.
Yeah, and more importantly, it's industrial, commercial, and it's available to the realtors and brokers at a convenient place where they go and search for their clients. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm speaking from personal experience, that's super valuable, because that is not, it's not as easy as looking up on MLS or something like you do for residential real estate. So there's really a benefit to doing that.
And we control, if I can for a second, out of those 100, we control, meaning we can update about 60% of those. The other 40% are controlled by the developer themselves, which is good and bad. In the beginning, it was more slanted the other way. So you've got to check up with a developer and say, hey, John, we really don't want to put retail on there. That's really not what we want to do. Basically, get it the hell off of there. So there's a fair amount of that, which takes hand-holding as well. But again, we control about 60%. I'd like to get that a little higher. So as we move along, that would be a goal as well.
I didn't follow you with that.
Okay, so we can put information on the sites, on the website.
Yes.
And a lot of this is a lot of website playing around and editing. And there are some sites that whoever started it, the realtor, was given approval 10 years ago. Hey, when you have something, you update it yourself.
I see.
And about half of them are good at it. The other half are,
Putting the stuff
put a
on.
car wash on.
Yes. Gotcha.
So we're getting there. We're moving more of our control the better.
Okay. So the ask is, do we want Jim to, renew that project again starting in March of 2023? And, the funds are not currently in the budget, so we're simultaneously, asking to amend the budget to cover this additional $6,500.
Yeah, it's actually half of that, Andy, because we you split costs with the OECD board. Did I get that right?
Mhm.
Okay. I get all the logarithms.
Okay.
You have a website, can you tell how many hits you've had to that website?
I can't. And, I get to defer this over to my good friend Suzanne Berry because her name is on it as a contact. I'm just a dumb contractor. So she's on it. Hey, when you want more info, contact Sue.
Okay,
So she could probably answer that.
Okay,
The
so,
sites that are on there are also free site selection process, and it's a really useful, quick tool for us, because we get asked from GRE for site selection all the time, is that I'm looking for 15 acres with this amount of water, this amount of wastewater, this amount of electricity, and that gives us a quick look at,
right.
so we can turn it around quickly back to them, so they can invite site selectors to come and visit whatever site is to do.
You know, like if you had 1,000 hits or only 25, you know, that's,
Yeah, I can come up with that information pretty good, but I don't know it off.
that's, yeah.
There's only so much space now.
But you find it as a useful tool to have.
Incredibly useful.
okay, so, looking for a motion to, re-up Jim at $6,500 for this project. Yes, sir.
It would be half of that. It'd be 65.
I'll make a motion.
All right, we have a motion from Amanda and a second from Ryan. Any other questions, comments, debate? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, Jim, you're on the hook for $3,250.
You're in my will. Just gotta get some money out. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yes,
Very
thank
much.
you.
And just to be clear on that, that was two motions, we sort of combined them into one. One to keep Jim doing the project and one to amend the budget. Yep. All right, Mr. Mincer, the part of the meeting I jonesed for all our.
Get your gas money's worth right here. Thanks for driving in. Okay, you should have a copy of my report, in your packet. I don't have anything, well, I do have one thing to add to that, is the, update on the project status, for the, terminal construction. It's kind of been sitting in limbo, for, Amanda and Brian, I don't know if you're aware, but the IDA was awarded a, capital grant from New York State DOT Aviation Capital Grant Program to build, construct essentially a 3,000 square foot new terminal building. That was back in 2017, 2018. We spent about a year and a half designing it. A year and a half ago, right in the middle of COVID, we bid it. So it was basically $1.5 million project. It came in around 1.9. So we've been searching for an answer to that, and the federal government came up with it with the bipartisan infrastructure law. We've been awarded $379, about $800,000 for the next 5 years to apply towards capital improvements for the airport.
Is that an aggregate or per year?
Per year, for 5 years. Actually, we're first 2 years we're at $790,000, then we go up to like, because our airport was upgraded to from local to regional, so we get a little bit more funding annually for that for the last 3 years. So we're in year two, or we've committed 2 years of this to help supplement this project to get it back out to bid again. It's been a challenging, it's been a real challenge to commingle these funds with the DOT, primarily around contractor requirements. You got MWB contractors for state and DBE contractors for the federal government. There's no such thing as an MWB DBE. It's like a unicorn, somebody who has got all the requirements in the world to fulfill the government. We did come up, we got all the minds together this afternoon. It took a month to schedule this meeting with between McFarland Johnson, our consultants, and the state DOT, Director of Aviation, and the engineering staff and all the staff there. And kicked this thing around, but we decided the best approach was me to take one contract, the GC contract. There's 4 contracts, general, plumbing, electrical, and mechanical. The GC was the high contract, about 1.3 came in. Take a portion of that and dedicate that, so that contractor would have to be fined at essentially comes to like 5 or 6% of the their project to fund it to a DDE. So they'll have to find some DDE contractor. That can be made up in trucking, et cetera. Long story short, but it brings a lot of front-end work to our engineering staff. McFarland Johnson, it's about $8,000 or $10,000 to this project just to get it, the spec that bid up to where it's, can be acceptable. We can rebid it again. It's like early April now. So my ask for the board tonight is to approve that. Now it's 100%. Well, this is a 90% reimbursable project through the state. So that means $800,000. I'm just asking for a motion. We'll probably have a resolution somewhere in March for this capture this expense. But McFarland just wants to go ahead, and so does the DOT, that the board's okay with essentially $10,000, not to exceed $10,000 in this expense. And again, it comes around $800 to $1,000 out of the IDA pocket when it's all done.
And that expense is related to the cost of just bid documents and whatnot, and putting
Yeah,
it
it's,
back to the bid.
now they've got to build 2 specifications, front-end specifications for this bid, for the federal and the state. It drives you crazy, but it's a lot of work, on their end to do that. It's, frankly, the state hasn't been done yet. This is gonna be a kind of a trial case, but, because a lot of airports are running into problems of, meeting their obligations with the projects they have already, and we're one of the few that come up with a solution to this, so. For $800, we're gonna make the front page.
Okay, so I need a motion, from the board that, we're going to approve, an additional approximate $10,000 expense, of which our portion will be somewhere around $800 to $1,000.
So moved.
Brian? Deb seconds. Any further discussion? Anybody have any questions? Amanda, you good?
I'm good.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None opposed, so that is approved. Bob, you're gonna continue on with the rest of your scintillating airport update?
Wow, we go all night.
No, you cannot.
We were already making wagers when the meeting was over. I got to stretch it out. The next one is I've got a resolution for, this is pretty standard, for design of ABLOS, capital improvement plan. We review, and update every year with the, FAA. This is to, design a new, automatic weather reporting station. What we have out there is now 20 years old. It's all working, everything's fine, but the equipment is obsolete. So the design portion of this is $63,000. State's portion of that project will be $3,500. Another $3,500 for local share IDA, and that will be done with this probably in the fall, I believe. So this resolution just authorizes Ryan to sign off on it and move forward with this project as planned. I think the applications will be due next week.
Mhm. Okay, need a motion for the resolution.
Move.
Brian? Deb, thank you. Got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None opposed? That carries as well. Okay. Bob, the rest of this is just for our reading pleasure.
What's that?
The rest of your update, you don't.
My report, I can read it out loud if you like.
No,
So, you,
you're good? Okay. Okay. Minutes from the last meeting, 12/19. Need a motion to approve those minutes.
Motion.
Deb? Second? Brian, thank you. Any discussion on those minutes? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None opposed. We have approved the minutes. Brian would like an opportunity to update us regarding some department.
So we had a couple things to go over, so I just made it a catch-all bucket at the bottom. Let's start with Cornell Cooperative Extension has asked us to once again purchase an ad for their Ontario County Agricultural Appreciation Dinner. They sent us last year's ad, which I believe is considered a half-page ad at $50. So Andy's just gonna need to have a motion to put another ad in. If you guys wanna know the rest of the ad, there's a full page for $150, inside, front, or back covers $200, half page is $50, and a business card size is $25. Those are the levels of sponsorship.
Ryan, why does the board have to approve a
$50 expenditure.
Yeah, can't spend money without your approval.
That's it.
I like
But
this side
many
of the
things
bar.
we spend and then we approve them afterwards.
Correct. But this is kind of like out of the ordinary. It's not anything we really have in a budget for advertising or something like that.
Okay, and what are you estimating it at?
You want a full page, it's $150. The last year we did a $50 one.
And what are you asking the board for?
You want, right?
Yeah,
I think that, 150 probably isn't gonna kill. Page ad for
Okay.
a good, strong partner for the county.
So moved.
Second.
He
discussion?
wants to.
I say, we're very,
Look at his face.
are you gonna design it yourself?
Yeah, I'm gonna take it and blow it up.
Okay, I'm gonna take that as.
Say us too, and then you don't have to spend it yourself.
There's no further discussion, desired, is the impression I'm getting. All in favor? Say aye. Opposed? All right, you have your $150 ad.
Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
All right, so we had a couple things happen since our last meeting, and I thought it was important to highlight some of them. You'll notice up there, and I can give you a copy or email it to you if you'd like. We had Empire State Development come and visit us on the 5th of January. We have a new regional director, Laura Fox O'Sullivan, and her deputy is also new, Bridget O'Brien. And this was the day that we took them on. We started meeting them in a parking lot because we're incredibly classy that way, and picked them up and took them on a windshield tour through Canandaigua. As you can see there, we drove by PACT of the airport and the Canandaigua lakefront, stopped in a couple different places just to give them an idea, a little bit of history, some of the things that we've been working on at those locations. And that was on our way to the Tech Farm in the Center of Excellence, where we spent about an hour and a half with Kathy Young and her team. Got to tour the entire Center of Excellence and got to see some of the things that they have going on there. Really important stop for us. There's a number of businesses that could spring out of that location. Kathy has a great understanding of that program, and Laura asked to stop by, so we were happy to spend some time with them. After that, we went and visited Ryan Wallace at Lake Tunnel Solar. Ryan's been a partner with the county before. He's got a couple different projects in the works, and I'm trying to help him get funding for a new building, an expansion for his solar production, the home production facility. And then we went to Twisted Rail for lunch for a couple reasons. One, because it was very, very close and we were running out of time. And two, because that was part of the DRI in Geneva. So, and at that lunch, we had Amy Hendricks, the new city manager, come and sit down. Also, Alyssa and Chris came and sat down with ESD, so we were able to have a nice conversation about not all things Geneva, but it was a lot to do with the city of Geneva, and got them introduced to stakeholders on that side of the county. After we left Twisted Rail, I took them down Route 14, the Route 14 and 96 Cloverleaf intersection. For those of you who do not know what that looks like, I strongly recommend you drive through it. That is our eastern gateway, and it is a critical point for us. To develop Route 14 is strategically a must for this county. But I don't believe it can happen until we get that intersection fixed. When you get off one intersection previous coming this way at Del Lago, you know exactly what you're getting into. When you get off in Manchester, Victor, and Canandaigua, you know exactly what you're getting into. When you get off in Phelps, you have absolutely no idea what you're getting into. And 7 miles down the road is the gateway of the Finger Lakes, or the base of Seneca Lake. So we have to establish an anchor point at that intersection. And the DOT agrees with us, and the Genesee Transit Authority also agrees with us. So they've asked me to be on a steering committee with our planning department. I'm happy to do it. So that's the traffic study will begin. The hopes is when we get that traffic study done, we can put a grade level intersection there rather than that massive cloverleaf that eats up a ton of ground, makes for a mess. And it's, let's see here, it's ugly to look at. So I don't think any of us want to look at it anymore. So hopefully with that anchor point in that part of the county, we can start to develop towards it. It's good for Phelps, it's good for the city and the town of Geneva. After that, we went through the town of Phelps, pointed at a couple different places, Phelps Hotel being one of them. They put in for DRI money, just wanted to make them aware that the Phelps Hotel existed and they should give us money. And then we went to Manchester to visit Leonard's Express, who has a beautiful facility there, a refrigeration facility, and they're getting ready to build a dry storage facility. It sits on our rail corridor. They will have, at the end of their second building, they will have about 25 to 30 acres worth of developable land. And I wanted to make sure to show that to ESD, and we are sharing it with a number of our regional partners. Part of Jim's little song and dance about GRE sites, that's a site that will be on that. And we're trying to get that developed, and that the rail study made it possible. After that, we ended our day at Acoustas. I don't believe anybody needs introduction to that business, but we were able to sit down with some of their facilities people, also the town and city of Canandaigua managers. Again, with Alyssa and Chris, they floated in and out of the day, and we got to look and see what a possible expansion of that facility would look like, and why we were approached to make the ask of ESD for Fast New York money, and we were able to show our regional director what the plan was. So it was a great day. It was a very busy 5 hours. We packed a lot in. They, by lunchtime, said that they can't wait to come back and visit more, because obviously we didn't touch all of the county, but we will bring them back and we will show more of what we have to offer. The general theme of the day and what ESD is looking for when they make an investment into a county or into any place is that it's going to be investment and not just an expenditure. What I wanted to illustrate to them was that we have the people in place to best spend their money, which is our money. And when they make an investment, whether it be in Geneva, Manchester, or Canandaigua, we have people that will give them the most bang for their buck. So I think we did a nice job of that. And I want to thank Alyssa for her involvement and everybody else that was there throughout the day.
Ryan, I'm sorry, I'm sure I missed it, but who is Empire State Development? How would you describe them?
That would be the much larger version of this department for the state.
For New York State?
Yes.
Yep.
And they also have regional offices.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that's who you had with your tour of the regional office in
It
Rochester.
would be the person, Laura's the person who took Vinny's job. Yep. So because our former regional director was given a promotion, and Laura's new to the position, and so is her deputy. So they are making this kind of round of this region. I believe we were their sixth visit, I think they said, sixth or seventh.
Of eight?
Yeah. So, yeah, because they're not going to do this in Monroe County because, well, they're in Monroe County. So,
That's for the regional office.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Couple other quick things, let's see here. I mentioned Fast New York, that application has been, the letter of intent to apply is out. We're waiting for them to review it and tell us yay or nay. Had a little bit of a technical difficulty, but we were able to overcome that after many phone conversations. Let's see here. So the next big thing that we're gonna start talking about as a department, February the 13th, we'll be having a Western Ontario County infrastructure discussion with all of our municipalities that draw water from that lake. It's critical for us to understand how much water we're using for each municipality and how much they think they might need over the next 3, 5, 7, and 10 years. The first 6 months, as you all know, I did a lot of, it was a listening tour throughout the municipalities, and what I witnessed was the worst game of telephone that I've ever been a part of. Manchester would talk to me and expect me to talk to Farmington, who would expect me to talk to the city of Canandaigua, and then go to Orem and possibly to Naples. And it's exhausting, and it could be much more effective if we all sat down together, discussed the infrastructure needs of Western Ontario County. We're going to do the same thing in the east. This is just the first thing for us to do. And we will also have a little site selection do's and don'ts from DRE, so our elected officials understand what a site selector will be looking for and why it's important for them to deliver on infrastructure needs. The chamber is going to do a little Main Street USA development thing, because it's stuff that we don't get involved with, but it's very, very important to some of our smaller municipalities. And outside of that, we're going to try to hammer out a plan. What is an action plan? Who's going to do what and when? So as we're starting to try to leverage some of the state and federal money to help us with our infrastructure needs, we're not running off in different directions. It's not good to be the Wild West. So we're going to try to wrap our arms around that and lead to further collaborative discussions into the CFA program. After that, you guys are getting bored. I can tell eyes are rolling in the back of your head.
Not at all.
The airport economic impact study is the draft. We received the draft end of last week. Not ready for you guys to take a look at it yet. We still have some things to ask and points of clarification, a little bit of expansion. So that next month, maybe I'll have that for you. And let's see here. Next month, Michael would smack me in the back of the head if I didn't remind everybody that next month, because we are a new board, we're going to discuss committee assignments and board leadership. So that I will deliver, or we'll send out some information for you guys to look at what it means to be on a committee, what committees are available. Also, there'll be some training information for everybody, including me. We have to sit down at a computer and do some really exciting training. Let's see here. Already covered the ag dinner. And, last but certainly not least, in your board packet, you'll see one of these. This is the county housing survey. As of last week at the check-in meeting, it was 550 responses?
Yeah, a little bit higher.
A little higher?
Yeah.
So between 550 and 600 responses to the survey. It is essential for us to do this survey, this study. We can't grow jobs and not have places for people to live. So this is absolutely right up our alley. It's critical for economic development. So I encourage all of you to take the survey and pass it out to your friends, family, loved ones, neighbors, and Brian, just, people.
Everyone you know.
So.
Can I add, I know Ryan's talked to you guys about the housing study or the housing assessment as well before, but in addition to just ensuring that new workers have somewhere to stay, it's also supposed to cover the whole gamut of housing needs in our county, both elderly housing needs, low-income housing needs, people like me who moved to the county over last summer who couldn't find a house, right? Like I bought the one house that I could find on the market. So it's supposed to cover the whole range and anticipate future needs so that we can kind of guide development. And we have an outside consultant doing the survey and finalizing the reports. It's kind of like 3 modes of data collection. It's your basic census data and report data that they're consolidating, and then the survey, which we want everyone to participate in, because that's really the perception. So the data is telling us what the reality is, but we all know that the perception matters too. So that's why there's a survey component, and the third element is the stakeholder engagement meetings, and I think some of you guys have been reached out to perhaps to participate in those directly with the consultant. So Ryan and I are not part of each of those meetings because we don't want the county to seem like a biased participant in it. We just are coordinating the whole project. So please get the word out. The more people that participate, the better.
Melissa, does it make any sense to talk just for a couple of minutes about how the survey results impact housing in the county? I mean, what's the mechanism for doing that?
Sure. So at some point at the end of the summer, we'll have a report provided to us by Urban Partners that will include a plan kind of split into quadrants of the county, because we acknowledge that Geneva needs are different than Bristol needs, which is where I live, or different than Victor, and from like every community is a little bit different and has a bit of a different appetite towards growth. So then with that report, we'll probably do some more outreach and get it into the world once the board adopts it. And then we're hoping it's like a neutral platform that people can have discussions with, right? Like the Geneva squad might use that report differently to initiate change and work with developers there. And this board will probably use that, will hopefully use that differently when you're talking to folks that come in asking for resources, right? Like the guy that was here earlier from 243, right? This is a very relevant discussion for him. So I think it could be used in a lot of ways, mostly to anticipate what our county needs in 5 to 10 years, and a lot of things that department is already doing and anticipating. Ryan might add to that, I'm sure.
Well, I think when Alyssa and I have been doing some of our media engagements, because we've been selected as the people that talk to the newspaper, they find it interesting that the steering committee isn't just economic development or the county administrator. We have DSS and planning involved too, so there's real teeth to whatever is put out in this plan. We're going to have somebody involved in it that will try to deliver on it. We did take a minute to sit with some council members from the city of Geneva and make sure that they understood that this wasn't just a top-down, we're gonna tell you how to fix your housing thing. We're trying to collect the information from your constituency to see what the need is, and then make a blanket plan. So what happens in Geneva isn't necessarily going to be what happens in Canandaigua, but they can get some ideas from it. Great to be a part of it.
Thank you. That concludes your update.
I got nothing else unless you guys just want to hear me drone on and on about something. I can make it up.
I've already lost my bet, so keep going.
I think we're good.
No, we're good.
Okay, Michael, bills to pay.
Bills, wanna jump in it?
Okay, top half there, all airport expenses, everything looks pretty good,
Maybe to you it does.
yeah. I mean, nothing outstanding,
Can you
Gene.
zoom in it, I'll just.
Gene, oh, there's, oh, Gene, change it. So we have property taxes
Yeah, that should work, right?
outside of there, and,
Yeah.
thank you. Just utility bills, rents, standard, typical for, labor and parts. And, web service, we get, twice a year we get a bill for, our website maintenance. But it, lawyers.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so on the bottom one here, just want to make notes that next time we meet, we'll have a schedule out there of all the property that is actually owned by the IDA. There's 3 parcels. You can see the taxes on that we're paying all 3 here. So the airport, and then this Laureus Nagel, this little one over here, is a small half-acre. Somehow we got on title on it. It butts up against the railroad somehow. So that's, I don't. If everybody's got any ideas what to do with that, let us know. But it's landlocked and there it sits, and we pay $10 a year to keep it.
It's surrounded by the railroad.
The railroad and.
Probably not a good community garden.
It is,
spot or
I'm trying to think,
something,
I think it's the railroad and maybe Zotos, something like that. Is that who it is? Yeah, it's this little piece right there. Anyway, FAME, this is the first time, I think in 2 years that we're doing the FAME. They presented and we approved. And here's our yearly dues. It's more of a contract that we'll have signed. Just some mileages through. Typically at the end of the year, we get those. Low-key Brill, those are the 3 projects we got right now where the labor is being monitored. 32,000 goes over to the airport fund to pay the bills, and finally some more mileage at the bottom. Any questions? Any? Good.
Oh, I'm looking for a motion to approve the bill.
I'll motion that.
Thank you, Deb. Brian, second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, bills are approved.
Okay.
While you were out, we already voted on and approved all of the,
All right. I just want to say, all right, please. I'm not going to go through this. I got the hint. So anyway, so this, the auditors are here. They started today. So they're here for the full week. There's 4 of them. I think a couple may taper off at the end of the week. But this is where we sit right now. There's a couple entries that are new this year. We have to capitalize leases. Those who have businesses are pretty familiar with that is. It's a fairly long, complicated accounting statute that pretty much says if you've got a liability out there for a long term, you need to put it on your financial statement. So we will have 2 of those. They're both leases to airports. So, any questions on that? Just kind of. Yeah, we'll have the full statements next time through.
Just out of curiosity, who does the audit? The people that are audited?
Mango, Metzger, and Barr. Same folks that do the county. So, okay.
all right, I would accept the motion to approve the financial statement.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Deb.
Second.
Thank you, Amanda. All in favor of approving the financials? Say aye. Opposed? All right, those are approved as submitted. At this point, I would entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I would gladly.
Make that motion?
Make that motion. Second.
All right. We're adjourned.
No, you gotta, so
Now-
we're gonna open
Yep.
the
Now we gotta go to.
We're gonna,
LDC, same deal here. We just need a motion and a second to have Andy chair the meeting.
oh,
Motion that. Second?
And then,
Aye.
beautiful, you're the guy.
okay. So we have this meeting, really so that we can review an
Transaction.
accounting, transaction that Michael wants to recommend, so I'm gonna turn it over to Michael.
Yep, so, first, if you guys want to do the minutes from the last
Oh,
meeting. That was for the budget. We met for the budget to approve the budget, and then we just went through the current financial statements at that point in time and had some minutes, and that was it.
okay, so I need a motion to approve the minutes from the 10/24/22 meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Deb. Brian, I know you weren't there. So,
Able to do that? We're gonna be able to do that? I don't think
Because
anybody-
neither of the 2 board members.
I think
There
you,
wasn't even board.
can I second it?
Can you do it?
Yeah, you can.
I'll second
you can
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
I think
minutes
that's
are
fine.
approved.
Okay, so, on the financials, could you do the financials? So real quick, this is it. So we've got cash on the asset side, and we've got equity on the liability and equity side. So what I'm looking for today is, I'd like to get rid of this board designated $200,000 that is sitting there. Probably 5 years ago or so, we, closed on a bond deal. The LDC came into some money, and right away it was, okay, let's put it over to the airport. The IDA did not have nearly as much money as we had today. And it was kind of just to keep it coming, keep it going. As of today, we don't need it there as a board designated item. I'd like to put it, reclass it to operating. The reason why I want to do this is because, as ridiculous as it sounds, we have to get this audited. And it is what it is. It's ABO, it needs to be audited. So I think if we were to, and I gotta be honest with you, I think our firm is doing it at $4,500 as a gift. I mean, it's just, I know it doesn't look like much, they come in, what's the big deal? But they got procedures, they gotta follow, this is what it is, period. And accounting firms are finding it's getting tough for them to find people too to work, and, you know, they're really raising prices all over the place. So we're very thankful that they're doing it for us. And I think if we can get this 200,000 out of board designated as it stands out, well, what are you guys designating this for? I think we could probably, I will approach the ABO and see if we can get an exemption on this particular company, and hopefully not require an audit going forward. So that would save us at least $4,500 a year, and possibly see if maybe we can do something with the insurance too, binding it with the IDAs. So I'd be looking for a motion just to.
I'd make a motion for that.
I'll second it.
All in favor of reclassing that as from board designated, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? All right, Michael.
Thank you.
Good.
You guys want me to give you another update?
Did something happen the last 5 minutes, or?
I checked my phone real quick.
Okay, motion to adjourn the LDC meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, who won the pool?
You all want.
Thanks, Ryan.
Hey, Sue Very, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Second page.
Sue, I did not get that housing report on the email. I don't know if that was just a paper report or,
We can send the,
I can send you.
yeah, would you mind sending me that? Thanks.
Yep.
Okay. Night, guys.
Steve.
All right.
Hi, Lou.
Good night, Lou.
Supposed to sign these?